They know.
Nate.
He's on the West Fork.
So we learn that now.
I've been trying to test.
Yeah, because I don't know why Dell's electric.
It's like
Is it anywhere in Dell?
there's specific locations,
Okay.
specific addresses where they
Sure.
check.
Yeah. Well, is 811, is that a state thing?
Don in the mosquito cover, not yet. What's that? Did you turn it on?
Yeah.
We still got a minute.
Who operates 811 and how their billing works.
And so.
You know.
Once you get them.
Yeah, if you can get somebody that knows. You
Send
know,
me to your building.
sure, but I mean, I feel like the deal with that is subcontracted out to somebody.
Interesting.
Yeah.
About that.
Right.
It's located on
Right.
The campaign for student
Yeah.
body president are hot and heavy right now. And I guess one of the main campaign causes is to bring cell phones back. And I'm like, it's yep.
Well, it'd be interesting to
He's like,
figure out what.
they're trying. They can try.
It's probably gonna be, it's not,
They can try. It's
Yeah.
just not gonna happen.
Right. Well,
over the span of time.
You actually have more freedom with your phones than allowed.
It, like, it's 100%, yeah. Like, am I gonna do this forever?
it goes on forever until somebody,
I got that. Maybe we should.
until you cry enough.
Ready to go down? Right, welcome everybody to our meeting tonight. I'll call it to order. Let me stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, next item on our agenda is approval of the meeting minutes held on April 13th, 2026. Move to approve. First by Jason, second by Karen. All those in favor of approving the minutes from April 13th, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, do we have any persons wishing to address our school board? Seeing none, we'll keep moving. Mr. DeBoer, do we have any items to adjust our agenda tonight?
No changes.
Right, we need a motion to approve our agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a first by Angie, second by Matt. All those in favor of approving our agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do we have any conflict of interest disclosures? All right. Next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. Questions or comments at all from the board?
I would just say, if you maybe notice a change, I did move our Haven meeting minutes to the consent agenda. I think it's just a better fit there. So, you'll see that the minutes will be there, and then, their budget was also in our board packet. You took a look at that. Haven's budget is really set on what they bring in and what they take out. Rachel does a great job of managing that, and, extremely humble when you become sick of herself increases in wages. So, you know, if you get a chance to say hi to Rachel, tell her how great she's doing for Haven, shake her hands and tell her thanks for what she does, because she's done a fantastic job. Just bringing that back to life. We've got some more employees back that are coming back to work. And our assistant that was here before is back too. She does a great job with them. So give Rachel a high five when you see her and tell her thanks for what she's doing. She's doing great here.
Do you know, is she often there during the before school program?
Say it again.
When is she most often there? Like, is she there for both the before and after school program?
Generally.
Okay.
Yeah. She's there in the morning pretty early. She does some of her running around, you know, mid-morning, kids are calling. And I'm sure she'll be crazy busy during the summertime, sure, 'cause I'm sure she'll be on all the trips and everything else, but.
All right, if there's no other discussion, we need a motion to approve our consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
We have a first by Matt, second by Angie. All those in favor of approving our consent agenda, please say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, next item on our agenda under old business is strategic planning.
So just wanted to make note, I did add, talked to Jason a few weeks ago, and talked a little bit about trying to develop some type of checklist, just to show where we're at, where we're making progress on, and if we check some things off the list. I don't think you're ever gonna check them off the list necessarily, because it's ongoing, you have to revisit them, but it gives you an idea of kind of where we're at in those goal areas. But we visited again today too. We think the committee needs to meet here before we, at the end of the year, just to maybe lay the groundwork for new goals or revisit where we're at or what we need to, where we think we want to go. So I'll be working with Karen and it's Karen and Jason, right? On the strategic planning. And we'll meet sometime here when the school year is over and just get on the same page. I do have a plan to meet with Joel as well. Joel and I are picking a day here in June that we're going to spend a day together, just kind of go through some things, and this will be a big piece of that. So that's my only update on the strategic plan.
Yeah, I think just talking with Dr. DeVore about establishing some sort of framework for the evaluation of what we've got done and the things that are measurable. And some of that we're going to have to do with the new leadership when they come in. But just so that from year to year, we're comparing against something that's set, instead of creating a new evaluation for every other year. So, and then just, incidentally, I was going through the strategic plan. It's a good thing we didn't print it. I guess it's the short version of that, because each one of these little stickies represents something that's going to change. So we'll have to do that too, but that's probably more like a July thing after everybody's here and in anticipation of printing it and distributing it before school year starts. But nothing crazy, just the things you would expect. We've got new bios and change some things and la-di-da. We'll get it done.
And I think yearly you'll have to do that anyway, because as you accomplish some of those goals, other ones will move up and become priorities.
Yeah.
I think that's the beauty of having this. That's actually something that's a living, breathing, working thing. It's not just throw it on the website.
And we are conducting the staff and student surveys.
The staff PD survey we did, the student surveys are done. Talking about that today too. We have the result. That should have been in that big end, that folder I gave you last month. That was the month prior to that.
Okay.
But there's another one I have to look at and visit. We talked about community survey, but I can't remember what we wanted to collect as far as data. Jason and I talked about maybe it's just a simple what do you like of our strategic plan and what would you like to see type of thing. But we'll come up with something there. And I would probably more than likely actually talk with Joel about that, because it'd be a great opportunity for him to get to know the community. And we can talk about putting it together, but for him to be able to get the results and be able to disseminate and see what those results are, it'd be a good kind of start for him. So.
Have you guys, when you think about printing it, have you guys had a number in mind? Or is it something maybe just planning for digital now? I don't know. I'm curious.
I think it's important for us to print it once, for sure. And then if it were to change significantly 5 years from now or whatever, we'll talk about that again. But I mean, from my point of view, I think it's important that we hand a copy to every staff member and whoever in the public wants one. Sure.
I think our intentions were 250 before we put the brakes on.
I think that sounds right. And that would be a little over 100 copies sitting around or something for the community wants them. And if for some reason it became a bestseller, I guess we'll just print it again.
Thank you. Anything else for strategic planning?
I don't think so.
All right, next under new business, item A, 9A, a second reading of policy DFAA. And I guess I'll throw in there, item B, which is second reading of policy KG as well.
Yeah, and we can do them separately, but DFAA, just to remind you, was our investment, which allows her to add and separate those accounts for interest earnings and transfer within. And then again, just a reminder, KG was then the facility use agreement in policy where we changed an item where, you know, coaches had a little skin in the game if they were taking some money home.
And did we get the official verbiage in there?
Yeah, what I ended up doing is adding, like, you know, they had the stars. I added the 4 asterisks that just says a for-profit school employee. User is a user, person, or entity which is a current employee of the Del Rio School District that will profit individually from facility use. An annual one-time fee of $200 will be required at the event. That's a profit of over $1,000. That's really the only thing that changed. So,
Any questions, comments, feedback? I know we hadn't heard much in between last meeting and this one, so I just wanted to double check. Because then we need to have motions for each of them.
yeah, we should do them separately.
Okay.
So I did talk to Dr. DeBoer kind of at length about the KG policy, because I have misgivings about putting ourselves in a position to take money away from teachers. They sort of walked me back from that. But I guess I would just personally like some sort of commitment that we, you know, maybe review this after a year or whatever from the board, to see how it's handled. I don't know. That maybe it's just a vestige from my time in the Army. There's an adage, never put yourself in a position to take money from your soldiers. And I think that's sort of how I'm viewing it through that lens. I understand all the work you put into it, and it's logical the way it's set out, but that concern still lingers. So it has my support, but I would just maybe like us to take a look at it after it's been used for a year or whatever, and talk about it again.
Well, it's only primarily used during the summer months.
Yep.
So we could even schedule a review this fall.
Yeah.
But either annually but either way, it's fine with me too.
I know you guys, talking to Dr. DeBoer, I know you guys did a lot of research, and the way you explained it, there's not really like a set program anywhere. Like every school kind of handles it differently, so I don't know. I hate to come to the table with not an alternative solution, because it's not that I think anybody made a bad choice, it's just I'm a little hesitant, but it has my support nonetheless.
Thank you for that perspective. Any other comments or discussion? Right. Hearing none, we need a motion on the floor to approve first policy DFAA, which is regarding our school investments.
A motion to approve the FAA.
Second.
We have a first by Angie, second by Karen. All those in favor of approving policy DFAA as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Right, we also have on the floor a need to approve policy KG, which has to do a dollar amount for facility use by staff who are for-profit.
I make a motion to approve policy KG.
Second?
All right, we have a first by Karen and a second by Angie. All those in favor of approving policy KG as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, item 9C under new business, fiscal year 27 preliminary budget.
Yes, you have your preliminary budget here. All funds are balanced for now. We can make any changes we need to up until its adoption. For the official budget hearing in July, we usually adopt it. You don't have to adopt it until September's board meeting. You can see on here our transfer summary. Transferring from capital outlay to general fund, we're at 29%, which is actually lower than anticipated when we were going through it with negotiations. Capital outlay used for transportation is around 4.8%. That's just up slightly just due to increase in cost for transportation. So a total of 33.8 for now.
What were we at last year?
34.5, 35.
And is that where we ended up? Or where we'll end up?
What do you mean?
Like, so we projected that we would be at 34, 35, and I'm just wondering if we kind of stayed there, or if we ended up higher or lower?
You're lower, 33.8.
Oh, that's this year's?
Yeah, this is
Oh,
for
okay.
next year. This is what we're projecting.
Okay.
And you don't need a motion, just review and let me know if you have questions, and then the official budget hearing will be in July. Thank you.
I just got a couple of questions. So did it take into account the facility review that the AD put together?
This does
This
not
covers-
include any of those expenditures at this time, no.
Okay.
No decisions have been made. I only go by official quotes and things that have been turned in as we are doing this for formulating the budget, and I have not received a for sure from anything on that, so.
Yes, to add to that, so a couple of things that I think needs to be talked about and looked at down the road is how deep do you want to get into the school safety stuff? Like, where do you want to, there's buzzers, how deep do you want to get in that? Buzzers, the buzzer system is that's where we want to go. We've got quotes for that, and we're ready, all we have to do is make phone calls and do it. And it's not a huge significant price to do those things. That's not anything that will take a ton of time. It's if you want to get a little deeper into that. Do you want to fix the camera systems? Do you want to, like all these windows technically should have mesh in them. Do you want to get that deep? Do you want to start putting barriers in front of the schools that don't have them, like the high school? Do you want to talk about backpacks, and do you want to add lockers? Like that's where you get into a little deeper discussion on the whole school safety aspect. But as far as buzzers, we can do that tomorrow.
Just to clarify the statement, right, like the mesh, for example, was one of the recommendations.
Just recommendations.
It's not
None of it's mandatory. No, not at all. No, not at all. All that is just recommendations from the safety officer that came through.
What's the debt service in capital outlay?
The debt service in capital is all your certificates that you have. So like the turf would be one, some improvements in the high school, middle school, high school.
I thought
The new elementary school.
Like the
The new elementary
I
school,
thought the turf was the only thing that was left.
the new elementary school is the elementary bond redemption, which is a different fund that has to be tracked separately.
Are we doing certificates at the middle school?
What's that?
Are the certificates for the middle school?
Yes, there's a middle school.
So this is
There's 3 or 4 left,
just track and
In
field
addition
then?
And
this improvement.
right.
Yep.
Oh, so these improvements that were done a couple of years ago are on the certificate too?
And of course, the roof project we did last year is not a certificate, it was just paid out of capital outlay. And there is another,
Yeah, that was the second thing, was to say that we're looking at it, and she doesn't have it on the official budget, but we are in our mind budgeting for the roof over here that we put an $8,000 fix. Well, you know how that works, water finds holes, so there's still some issues there. We have them price out for us to just fix it the right way, and I think it's in the 600,000 range, maybe a little more.
7, 8.
But we had them we want them to send us a quote, because we'd like to do the same thing, be able to put it across 2 fiscal years. So you could pay $400 for one, and then in the other fiscal year, the next year, so it'd be fiscal year 27 and fiscal year 28.
I did roughly budget half
So,
in this one, right here, what you got.
and I would, once you guys look at that, I would absolutely recommend to do it because they need to be done. I mean, in the next 5 to 8 years, there's going to be a number of them that need to be completed. So, and we have it in our capital budget to do.
And that's all individual fixes on the high school side of the road.
There's some in high school, there's some elementaries that need some work here sooner or later. But, yeah. There's a lot of them that haven't been looked at for a little while.
So like with the safety stuff, do we need to set a meeting to sit down and like look at that so that we can make a recommendation with which direction we want to go?
Yeah, I think the facilities committee should do
It's a
that.
motion there, because I feel like that's something, hopefully we can look at.
And you might want to wait until you set your July committees, since those are changing here in a month or so, and then do it then. Again, like that's a recommendation, you put buzzers in those guys, they can come do it today. Matter of fact, one of them has been non-stop emailing. So,
If you want to grab a coffee someone, go through it. I'm very honored.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, just let me know. Earlier than
yeah, let me know too, I can come and I can bring some numbers and
Okay.
at the very least, we can go through that piece of it.
Okay.
No problem there.
Anything else, Kim, for the budget at all? Any other discussion or questions at this time? Okay, thank you for bringing that to us today. All right, item 9D, approve the South Dakota High School Activities Association ballots, of which there are 2.
Okay, so I'll offer a little feedback on these. The first ballots on the amendments, they are, let's go through, like amendment 1, for example. I won't waste your time reading these, I'll just kind of explain. Amendment 1 is essentially avoiding a situation where 7th and 8th graders with local varsity sports, they play for their 7th grade and 8th grade year, and they decide they want to come back and take 8th grade again. So it's basically saying you only get 4 semesters or 6 trimesters for your middle school career. So what's happening is, people are trying to redshirt. So they're trying to get another extra year of eligibility. So now they're saying, now that instead of just, the rule in high school is you have 8 consecutive semesters. Well, now they're doing the same thing in middle school where you have 4 consecutive semesters. So that's that one. Of course, I would recommend a yes on that one. Number 2 is with some recent schools closing, we just kind of talked about one earlier, there's questions about whether they can transfer their eligibility without having to sit out 45 days in just preparation of them closing, and that's just cleaning up some of that language saying you can transfer or open enroll somewhere else and not sit out after it officially closes. So if a school would close at semester time, then they could go without penalty. If it's at the end of the year, obviously, that school year and those activities have to finish. They can't just go from one softball team to a winning softball team. So they'd have to wait. So that cleans up that language. And then number 3 is just cleans up the graduation piece where if you have students that are graduating early, like we have a number of students some years that graduate at semester. So at Christmas time, they can no longer participate in athletics if they have officially get a diploma and graduate. And then it does, reiterate that doesn't count seniors that graduate, Saturday, and then state softball and state golf and some of those state events are after. If they participated in those, then they can finish those. So those are the 3 amendments which I would recommend say yes on all of them. And then I'll cover, and then the ballot is just pretty easy. It's only one. So it's Jeff Costers from Frederick Area School District that's filling that role of that school size. So that was pretty simple. I answer any questions if you have them?
Is that people repeating 8th grade, is that really a problem?
It's like anything else, the reason it's being brought forward is because somebody's abused it.
Seems like they're fixing the problem because of
Yes.
this, but I don't know that.
I don't think it's a rampant issue, but I do think there's people that have utilized it before.
There's most people the number of years retired.
Well, what they run into is like kids will participate 7th and 8th grade in one school and then go take 8th grade at a different school and then try to participate in varsity there. And that's where it was really being taken advantage of.
That's a lot of effort for school sports.
Yep.
We need a motion to approve all
So-
together, or do
We can do it all together. I would recommend Mr. Coster's. Obviously, it's one, and then I would recommend a yes vote on the other 3. We could do it all at once.
Okay. Any other questions coming through discussion amongst those? Okay. So, make sure I state this correctly. All those board members in favor of approving the 3 amendments as proposed, as well as Jeff Coster's, District 4 representative, for the SDHSAA ballot, please say aye.
Do we need a motion?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I need a motion.
Right.
I'll make the motion that we vote yes on the 3 and Jeff Costers for the nominee.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What was the second?
Again, have it.
All right, we have a first by Matt, second by Jason. All those in favor of voting aye? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. All right, next item on the agenda, superintendent report.
So a few things here, graduation, 2 o'clock on Saturday, as many of you know, you have graduates, you're our guy on stage, right? Wow.
I guess so, I'll be there anyway.
So, yeah, you'll be there, a few of you that have. As I told you before, I was appointed for the extraordinary cost fund, so our meeting to approve those extraordinary cost fund dollars is Wednesday, so I'll be there on Wednesday. Then Friday, I'm meeting in Pierre with a regional group that's looking at trying to join a preschool coalition. North Dakota is going to come down and kind of talk us through some things. We're one of 2 states that aren't in it, so basically trying to develop some legislation, trying to push our legislators to fund preschool. So I'll be working with that group. And I do want to just throw out some thank yous. Teacher appreciation was last week, so I just want to throw out how much we appreciate our teachers, but also our principals and our assistants that did something for them almost every day, whether it was meals or drawings or games or whatever. So just want to thank them, our principals and our principals' assistants in the office. Admin assistants, they do a great job organizing that too. So Connie and Eve and Heidi. And then also just our custodial staff, our activities director. I mean, it's just banquet after banquet after banquet this time of year. So you can walk through our school, it's always cleaned up and it's set up and it's ready to go. And we have food out that Booster Club left us for last Sunday night, so we have that out for teachers today. But just a shout out to our custodians and our facilities and athletic director for doing all those things for us too. So I want to thank them for that. That's all I have. I would say pay attention. One last thing was just pay attention to, sounds like there is a push to get the property tax bill on the ballot in November. I think, was it 245 was that the, that's either, I can't remember, it was 98 or 245. Anyway, the one that reduced from 2.6 or whatever to 0.67 or 667. Looks like there's a push to get that on the ballot in November, so that would change that property bill, which was Hanson's bill. And then of course, Governor Roden's bill was any county can add half cent if they want to. So I'll just say to pay a little attention to that. Look at, if you guys would like me, I can send you and email you, the people that are running for the legislature right now, what their voting record has looked like. It might help you at the ballot box as well, if you go. So I'll give myself a note to send that out to you guys. Please do, so that you have that. Could be a big year, you know, this year with what governor gets put in, and I know there's a lot of really good legislators that are running again that got knocked off 2 years ago. And I say really good, meaning they're huge proponents of education. So hopefully they can get them back in there, avoid the 8-7 votes in the committees and the 5-4 votes.
So to clarify what you said, the property tax reduction passed and is legislation, right? So they're gonna try to repeal by referendum?
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so July 1 it would take place, and then I'm hearing there's a petition being circulated to put that on the ballot to
Gotcha.
basically reverse that law, so. Now, whether that comes to fruition, I don't know. I think, what is it, 25,000 signatures, I think, something like that.
There are very few sources of revenue in the state, so
Yeah.
ditching one of them by 90% is probably.
Well, they want to add it to the sales tax, right? So now you're talking, if you add it to the sales tax plus the half-cent sales tax, that more than likely counties we live in, Minnehaha, will do. Now you're bumping up to a 5% sales tax instead of 4. So,
Yeah.
Anything else, Dr. Board?
no, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Item 10B, any committee reports and or other board comments?
I just want to, I was invited to attend a PTO meeting, just to kind of get an idea, around what it is that they are working on, some of their projects. And so I just want to give a shout out to them because they're really busy doing a whole lot of things throughout the year for the elementary school. They do a lot of things for the students and their teachers. And there's a lot of work and time, I think, and effort that goes into that. So I wanted to give a shout out to them. Also, just maybe keep an eye out for some of their social media posts and things. They're gonna try to work on kind of that big project or keep things in motion with that outdoor classroom. And so just having our support and our willingness to kind of share that information when it gets out there on social media, to try to draw more attention to that and support for that would be much appreciated by everyone. So.
I don't know if we can get a little more throughput on the app too. I mean, the app is awesome, but it's still 95% high school, middle school. I don't know. I don't want to give them another something to do either. Maybe they don't want to deal with it, but I don't know how easy that throughput is from social media to application.
What you give them space on the app?
Yeah, just more push of information from them in that platform. Because I go in the app often to check things.
Yeah, I think PTO is working really hard. This Mervon could add to this more than anything. They've got great ideas and I think they're working hard. And just think they wrestle with decision making. PTO. They just, it's hard to get them to make a decision sometimes. And I don't know if it's cooks in the kitchen or if it's just a little leery about spending the money they have and doing it right. But they work hard and they do a ton of fundraising and they're excited about what they want to do. But, you know.
They support in so many different ways, not just monetary. They come in copies, they come in help the teachers in any way they can. So it's just, they're really boots on the ground and we really appreciate it.
And I'm sure they would take more volunteers if anybody out there would like to join and help.
I attended the 5th and 6th grade game and fair concert. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yes,
Michael
it is.
Check basically put on a mini musical, which was incredible. And, Mr. Timberley's work with the students is just incredible. The change from 5th grade to 6th grade I was blown away, and knowing everything that he had on his plate this year, and he still just wrapped it. It was hats off to them. Very impressive. We're very lucky to have both of them.
You get to see one display again tomorrow night, 7th and 8th grade tomorrow night, so if you're looking for something to do.
I'll be going to that one.
So,
I'm looking forward to it.
they really do. Mr. Michael Shuck and Mr. Timberley do a great job with our kids. They really do.
And, so I went to the Susification with Romeo and Juliet, which was weird, but a lot of fun. It was meant to be weird. I don't think that's going to surprise anybody. I was a little disappointed that Romeo doesn't die in the end, but it's kind of
Susification.
yeah, well, you know,
It's supposed to be happy.
like I said, I wasn't shedding any tears for Romeo before that.
I think I missed the part when they rewound and ran through it all again.
Yeah.
What did I miss? Did they set that up with something?
Yeah, so it had to match the prologue, so the way it ended, I could match the prologue, so they had to redo it quickly to match.
I was like, okay. Well, I missed the line in there or what? I was like, this is like fast forward.
But just appreciated everybody involved, the teachers and students. Months and months of work to still be the 3 2-hour moments of time. It's pretty impressive what they do, so.
All right, thank you, everybody. Item 10C, calendar of school events.
I sent an email to you guys this morning. Yeah, it's all pretty much listed there, but, big ones, don't forget graduation coming up. That's Saturday. I always, one of my biggest things of anxiety is, I set about 10 reminders on my phone because it's Saturday, you know, it's like, wake up in these hot sweats thinking I missed the graduation.
I think you get a phone call.
Yeah, really probably.
Maybe.
But yeah, there's a ton of things going on. I sent most of those credit update you guys are, you know, every Monday.
Everything's going on without a hit, it's going well. All right, last item on our agenda tonight is the next regular meeting. It's currently scheduled on June 8th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Just double checking that time is still okay for everyone.
What should we?
All right, so just so we can have it also on video, our next regular meeting will stay on June 8th, 2026 at 7 p.m.
Yep.
All right, do we have a need for executive session?
Do not.
All right, with that, we need a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Carol's the first, Jason with the second. All those in favor of adjourning our meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're adjourned at 7:36 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Shortest meeting. You can try.
Yeah, I would say the first part of the week after graduation, one of those mornings. I'm just thinking for him, I shouldn't even speak for you. I'm available whenever, but I'm assuming you probably wait till everything's.
Yeah, I mean, if we
Just
want
start
to,
unplugging
we want
things,
to
Kim.
do it like, even after,
Throw it against the wall. It won't work.
I can do
like, end